Welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all North and South Carolina students, sponsored by the Carolinas Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers and Straskin. Thanks for joining us today. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions for our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are turned off so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is one of the many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at CACRAO.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at that same website, CACRAO.org. I'd like to now go ahead and turn it over to our presenters.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Faith Fox, and I'm an admissions counselor from Randolph Macon College, and I'm joined with two other admissions counselors, and we will be presenting on Virginia private colleges. I will allow them to go ahead and introduce themselves as well.
Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Bessie. I'm an Associate Director of Admissions at Roanoke College. I graduated from Roanoke in 2014 and then had the pleasure of working at a couple other institutions before returning to my alma mater. I'm a regional admission counselor, so live and work in Charlotte, North Carolina, and work with students from the whole state of North Carolina.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tracy Harrison. I am the Associate Director of Admissions at Emory and Henry College. I've been here for about 3 years, and prior to that, I've worked for two other institutions and their financial aid offices. So we will go ahead and get our PowerPoint shared and up and running.
Wonderful, thank you. So like I said, we'll be presenting on Virginia private colleges. Next slide. And these are all of our wonderful presenters, and we just introduced ourselves. And this is the state of Virginia. So Virginia has everything to offer, from the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains on the western side of the state, some really nice bigger cities, like this is a picture of Richmond, Virginia, and also really close to Washington, D.C., and also the beautiful beaches on the eastern coast of Virginia. Also, Virginia is a really accessible state. You'll notice that we have a lot of major highways that make each part of the state really accessible by car. There's also an Amtrak train that runs throughout the state of Virginia and has different stops all along the eastern coast and goes over towards the Roanoke area as well. And also now I'm going to pass it over to Chris to talk about where the different private colleges are located in the state.
Yeah, as I said in my introduction, I've had the opportunity to work at a few different institutions, some in Virginia and some not. I actually worked at Randolph College in Lynchburg, Virginia for a few years, and then Rhodes College in Memphis, Tennessee for a few years. But you can notice that there are some similarities between all of the three schools that I've worked at. All three are RCs, which is kind of funny. Randolph College, Rhodes College, and Roto College. But other than that, they're all small liberal arts institutions. I'm a big believer in the liberal arts. And of course, Virginia is a great place to go to school if you're looking for a liberal arts institution. We actually have over 24 different liberal arts private colleges in the state of Virginia. Now, when you're looking at colleges, specifically liberal arts institutions, you notice that all of them have some similarities, and Tracy will go over a couple of those in a minute, but they are all distinct in their own different ways too. So I just want to mention with this section to visit campuses as much as you can. That's how you're really going to see how the different institutions are different from one another, what makes them different, what type of student thrives at this institution in particular. So really just want to push the visits. Of course, if you don't feel comfortable visiting in person, you can always do so virtually. All of us offer different virtual information session, virtual tours, things like that. So make sure that you're going and visiting any way that you can to really, see the difference between all of us. Another great way to visit is actually during Virginia Private College Week. All of our private schools in Virginia offer multiple visits during this week, and you have some fun things that happen if you do visit a certain amount of institutions. You get fee waivers and fun things like that, but it is a great time to come visit over the summer, especially for our sophomores and juniors out there. But Tracy, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. So why a liberal arts education? So our goal is not always necessarily to train students for a career. Our students do come out with fantastic opportunities and experience to move them on through their career. But we challenge their beliefs. We make them critical thinkers. We pose them to become global citizens. Students of liberal arts colleges spend more time focusing on preparing for life. All of our schools offer more hands-on learning, more handcrafted education. You're not only coming out with a biology degree, but you may have also focused in equine studies or performed with the marching band. So it's always going to be your degree plus everything else and the opportunities that were allowed to you from a small school. We have small class sizes. On average, for the most part, we have class sizes that are usually range from 15 to 20. Our student to faculty ratio is going to be 10 to 1, 13 to 1. Our faculty have hands-on with our students with research, helping them with research projects. Our faculty are the ones who actually teach our courses. You're going to get a personalized education. Like I said, one-on-one opportunities for professors, a close-knit community. I know on our campus, and I have been on other campuses as well, everyone knows you. Everyone is going to wave to you and say hi to you, whether that is a student, faculty, or someone that works in our facilities or our cafeteria. And we're safe, we're small. You're going to have a lot less people, a lot less crime rate. Again, all of our campuses are safe depending on where we're at. All of us come from different areas, whether that is a rural area where Emory and Henry is located at or closer to cities. We have great alumni connections. All of our alumni are really in tune with our current students and offering internships, job placements, and helping with grad schools as well. Next slide, right? So I will actually go into more specifics about Emory and Henry College. We are located in Southwest Virginia along Interstate I-81. Our main campus is located at exit 26, but we do offer various other locations for our campus. We have a School of Health Science, an Intermont Equestrian Center where our equestrian teams are at, and also our Bartlett Road Field Station, which is a 72-acre station of wetlands, trees, forests, waterways that our students will use as one giant lab resource for our biology and our environmental studies students. We're approximately 2 hours from Roanoke, Asheville, Boone, and Knoxville. We are very proud of our theater department. We do have a partnership with the Barter Theater in Abingdon, Virginia. So a lot of our adjunct professors will be professional actors and actresses from the Barter. They do host workshops for our students as well, along with offering them internships, and a vast majority of our students, if they do not go on to grad school, will actually get careers at the Barter Theater when they first graduate. We are the only school in the United States that offers credit to hike the Appalachian Trail. It is a semester program, and our students have the opportunity to select sections of the trail, or they can hike the entire thing from Georgia to Maine. We have an outdoor program that is available to all of our students. They offer weekend or week-long trips depending on the season. They do hiking, kayaking, whitewater rafting, rock climbing, and then we have our adventure team, which is our group of student leaders that help lead those groups on any of the adventures that they go on. Where we are located, we are close to several different state parks. We are close to the Appalachian Trail and the Creeper Trail. One of our master's programs that we offer is a master's in education. It's a 5-year program where within their 4th year, students will start taking master's levels classes and then finish out their master's in that 5th year. Our students will be licensed in the state of Virginia to be able to teach. But if they want to go to another state to teach, our master's program is the foundation, and all they will need to do is take the licensure testing for the state that they are wanting to teach in. This is probably one of our more popular programs, and all of our undergrad opportunities offer pair with our master's program for our students to be able to teach in specific areas. In this fall, we actually just added our engineering science degree. This is a general engineering bachelor's of science that prepare our students either to go into the workforce in an engineering firm or move on to grad school if they want to get a master's in a specific engineering field. And this just kind of goes over, again, this is a repeat of what being part of a liberal arts, the type of education you're going to get, that hands-on experience. We do offer study abroad opportunities for all of our students, on top of offering internships for all of our students as well. Our Van Vlissingen Center for Career and Professional Development is there for career counseling. They will work with our students on determining what major they want to go into if they come to us undecided. They'll make recommendations if a student should take on a double major or if they should take on a minor. They help them create their resumes, help them find internships, jobs after graduation, and move on to graduate school. So outside the classroom, we have 70 plus student organizations. We offer affinity groups that have scholarships attached to them, along with our outdoor adventure team. We offer both fraternity and sorority Greek life. We have intramural sports. We are very big in community service and leadership. The vast majority of our students will do some sort of community service project on the time that they are here with us. One of the new things that we have offered, because a lot of our students are not on campus, is we are offering the Hangout, which is virtual opportunities for our students to connect with each other, whether they are living on campus or doing their schooling remotely from home.
All right, great. Let's talk a little bit about Roanoke College. All right, Roanoke is a national liberal arts and sciences institution. Of course, we're located in Virginia. We're doing a session about Virginia private colleges, but we're specifically located in Salem, Virginia, which is kind of interesting, not located in Roanoke, but in Roanoke County. Salem, Virginia is an interesting college town. The typical college town that you see, wonderful Main Street, mom and pop shops, restaurants, things like that. Right across the street is Mac and Bob's. It's owned and operated by an alum who loves having students over. If you're ever visiting, make sure to get the Boston Zone. It's literally this big. It's not like one of those fishing stories where I say it's this big and it's like this big. It's actually this big. So go ahead and take some time to check out Main Street when you come and visit Roanoke. But we're also located about 10-minute drive away from the city of Roanoke. Now, it's not a Boston, New York, it's not a Charlotte, but it's still a major city that offers a lot for our students. And our students love to go out and enjoy downtown. I told you I graduated from Roanoke in 2014. Downtown has just exploded since I've graduated. Lots and lots of fun things to do there. We have a taxi voucher system, so we'll drive for students can get a taxi for free to go downtown on the weekends and enjoy that atmosphere. Finally, we're located at the foothills of the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains. Faith kind of talked about the diversity of Virginia and the different locations that you can be at the beach in one end, the mountains in another. I mean, it's just an awesome place to go to school. But I mean, for us being right in the backyard of the Appalachian Trail is great. I was head of the outdoor adventures program as a student. And for me, it was always great during the day. I could go on a kayaking trip, then go back, get ready, and head out to downtown Roanoke at night. It's really nice to have all three of those different types of locations all in one area. And we have just over 2,000 students at Roanoke. You know, Tracy kind of hit on some of the commonalities between liberal arts colleges, and you see a lot of that here, the average class size being 18, 13 to 1 student to faculty ratio. The thing that kind of stands out to this one for me is just our students coming from so many different places, 39 different states, 31 different countries. I said at the beginning, we are a national liberal arts and sciences institution. Students are coming from all over the country, all over the world to come to Roanoke, which is great. I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts, came to Roanoke with a thick Boston accent. I packed my car in the Harvard Yard. But, you know, it was kind of nice to come in with different students coming from different backgrounds with different ideas, and just have really a diversity of thought in our classes. Go ahead to the next one, Scott. Thank you. Over 50 different majors, multiple pre-professional program, minors. I think a misconception about a liberal arts education is, you know, you're not going to have my major. You know, our majors are much more broad, but there's always things that you can do, and you can, of course, connect them to internship opportunities, things like that I'll get into in a minute. Business has traditionally been our top major for the last 5 years. We have students that do some amazing things after leaving Roanoke within the business world, some students that have started their own businesses, of course. We've had students, one of my buddies I graduated with is an associate vice president at Wells Fargo. Again, a lot of great success in that business world. Biology, of course, is the second most popular major. I'm sure no one's confused about that. Everybody wants to be a doctor today. So strong pre-professional programs with pre-med, pre-law, pre-vet. I mean, you name it, we'll have it for you. We also just started an engineering science degree. We also just revamped our entire education department as well, which is getting more and more popular every year for our students. Now, we talk about the liberal arts, and I'm sure all three of us are going to hit this again in our presentations. I know Tracy did. I'm sure Faith is going to talk about the liberal arts as well. But the way that we implement the liberal arts at Roanoke, I think, is a little distinct. We have what's called our intellectual inquiry system. So in a lot of places, you'll see, you know, gen ed requirements being the blank 101 or the intro to blank or whatever it is. You know, as a student, that always bored me. I never wanted to take those courses because I didn't think they pertained to my specific major. But that's why we came up with our intellectual inquiry system, so that students could take classes they're more interested in and that pertained more to their major. So to give you an example, for me being a political science major, the idea of taking chemistry it didn't sit well. I would have been bored. It would have been a 3-hour lab. I don't see how it relates to political science. But I ended up taking a chemistry and crime course. Absolutely love it. I'm a big NCIS fan, so taking that forensics course was really neat to me. And in fact, for our final exam, we walked in and there was a mock murder set up. And we had to solve that murder, using everything that we've learned throughout the year, all the different chemical techniques. So it's just, again, I'm learning chemistry, but I'm doing it in a way that's much more fun to me. You can see some of the other courses here. I had a student who previously wasn't a big math fan, and the idea of taking a math course made him physically ill. And so he was worried about taking Stat 101. Well, we both have a mutual love of baseball. I suggested he take a statistics and baseball course. He did. He loved it. He'd come back and talk to me about it all the time. And again, he was learning math in a way that was much more interesting to him. And of course, I talked about real world experiences. We need to pad that resume with a lot of different opportunities. You see that on average, our students have at least 5 different experiences to put on their resume by the time that they leave Roanoke, in many, many different areas. The arts, of course, are strong. Theater, music, art, a lot of students that partake in those at Roanoke. Service learning is something that's really, really important to us. We love to give back to the community that really gives so much to us. Internships are really important, and of course, study abroad. I mean, the majority of our students will study abroad within their 4 years. There's actually a junior at Roanoke right now who studied abroad 4 times already. Don't know how he's done it, but good for him, right? So lots and lots of opportunities to study abroad. We also have what's called our May term program. So you can go during the month of May, you take a class either on campus, domestically, or abroad with 15 to 20 other Roanoke College students, 1 or 2 faculty members. So we have courses in May that go to India, Uganda, We have a Civil War course that checks out all the different battlefields in the Civil War. We have a national parks course where students actually get to go visit all the national parks. So lots of opportunities to study domestically throughout the country and of course abroad. And just wanted to mention a few places where our students have gone to work after graduation, and of course to different graduate school programs. We have a 93% of our students are either employed or in graduate school programs within 6 months of graduation. And these are jobs that require a bachelor's degree. So I always say it's not babysitting or anything like that. I think our parents and guardians who are watching this presentation today will be happy with that statistic. Go ahead, Scott. And finally, just a little bit about campus life to end us off here. Over 100 different clubs and organizations. We are, of course, a residential campus. Students are living on campus for 4 years, majority of our student body. Lots and lots to do, lots of fun events happening on the weekend. We brought in artists like Waka Flocka and Wale and Time Flies. And, I don't know any of those artists, but I hear they're really great and our students enjoy them. So 22 different teams were in the ODAC, Old Dominion Athletic Conference. I think we might have talked about that a little bit earlier, but 25% of our student body are varsity athletes. So again, just a lot of fun things to do on the weekends, whether you're going out into the wilderness, downtown, or enjoying different events or things that are happening on campus. All right, and just some of my contact information there, which I think we'll show again at the end. Faith, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Wonderful. So now a little bit about Randolph-Macon College. Randolph-Macon is located in Ashland, Virginia, also coined the center of the universe. The mayor coined that title about 30 years ago and no one disputed it, so it's stuck and it's trademarked for Ashland now. But here in the background, you can see the Amtrak train station, which we have right on the corner of our campus, and the train actually runs through our campus. But that's really accessible for students who don't bring their car on campus, which you can all 4 years. But if you decide not to, having the train go all up and down the East Coast is really accessible for students. I forgot to mention earlier, but I also am a graduate of Randolph-Macon. I graduated in the class of 2019, so not too long ago. And I've been working in admissions since then. And I work with students from the entire southern region. So I always like to point out to them, if they're traveling for Randolph-Macon, which would be out of state, that their Amtrak is a great opportunity for them to travel to campus. But in Ashland, there's a great blend of mom and pop shops, your local restaurants, coffee shops, boutiques, but then also your national conveniences like Walmart, Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, Cookout, all of those really important places as well. So it's a great blend. We have a great relationship with the town of Ashland as well. They're always welcome on our campus, and we like to participate in their town events as well. And we have something called the Big Event, where students will perform community service for the town of Ashland, whether it be raking people's leaves, helping them paint their fences, washing their cars, anything that they may need, just as a way for us to give back and say thank you for creating a nice and welcoming community for us. But even though we are smaller, we are close to 2 larger cities in Virginia, Richmond, which is the capital of Virginia, which you can see in the lower picture. And here's a picture of the skyline. You can see there's lots of fun things to do in Richmond, like shopping, concerts, and festivals, and the river, which you can see. But we also see a lot of our alumni go to live in Richmond after they graduate. So having those alumni connections so close is really beneficial with internships, networking, resources. I actually did an internship with an alumna in the 2 twin buildings, which you can kind of see in the bottom picture and the one on the right. So we'll talk about internships in a little bit, but being close to Richmond has a lot of benefits. We're also about an hour and a half away from Washington, D.C., so the nation's capital, and there's even more opportunities up there as well. And we have something called the Washington Initiative, where faculty and staff can plan trips with students up to D.C., whether it be for fun or some experiential learning, and it's free for students. They usually give them about $10, $15 to buy lunch or buy a souvenir, and they go for all different kinds of events, the Cherry Blossom Festival, to the museums that are up there, and different things. But also in reference to our location, like we said, we're really close to the beach, about an hour and away from the beach, hour and a half away from the mountains, so we have accessibility to different parts of the state. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. So now for the academic experience, like we've said this entire session, we are all liberal arts and sciences institutions, which means that you're getting so many skills and gaining so much experience while also learning having the academic experience that you want to create. We're 100% graduate assistant free, an average class size of 16 students, an 11-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So like Tracy was saying earlier, a lot of liberal arts and sciences institutions will have statistics similar to that, because it creates that environment in a classroom where you can have discussion-based classes, you can have hands-on learning. Your professor will know your name in the classroom, they know what your learning style is, they can tell on your face if you're struggling with a certain part of the lesson, they can focus on that a little bit more. I also had a lot of my professors' cell phone numbers because they want to be accessible even outside of class. So if you have questions, you need to reach them outside the classroom, you can do that. Randolph-Macon has a lot of opportunities for students to do research in their undergraduate. We have something called the Shapiro Undergraduate Research Fellowship, where students are invited to stay on campus over the summer, and they are paid close to $3,000 for conducting their own research, and you have the help of a faculty member assisting you. So that's great for students to put on their resume, talk about in grad school interviews or interviews for the workforce as well. We have 50+ majors, minors, and pre-professional programs. Some of our newer ones are criminology, cybersecurity, a new nursing program, and a new engineering science major. And we are a recognized Phi Beta, I cannot say that word, Phi Beta Kappa College. 35% of Randolph-Macon students will study abroad also, and I think it's because Randolph-Macon presents students with a lot of opportunities in our 414 academic calendar, and those numbers represent months. So we have 4 months of our fall semester and 4 months of our spring semester, which is pretty normal in most colleges, and then a 1-month term in the middle, which always falls in the month of January for our January term. Next slide. Oh. Just kidding, can you go back? I guess I didn't have the slide in there. But for our January term, students have 3 options on what they can do. You can either take 1 class on campus, and that's an opportunity for students to dive in maybe on a subject that you really struggle with, or one of your favorite subjects. You can study abroad during that time. You go with Randolph-Macon professors and classmates to so many different places, Cambodia, Spain, Belize, Iceland, Australia, and really get to take what you're learning in the classroom and apply it in a different culture. Or you can do an internship, which is what I did my senior January term. And it was really nice. The professors helped me find an internship that I was interested in. I didn't have to stress about finding one on my own. I was interested in nonprofit work and higher education, and they placed me at the Virginia Foundation for Independent Colleges. So it was a perfect fit for me, and I had a wonderful learning experience right in Richmond. So now you can go on to the next slide. Thank you. So our Edge Career Center also helps students find internships and really prepare you for life after college. They are ranked number 13 in the nation for career services by the Princeton Review, and they truly are doing amazing work. This is actually the reason I decided to go to Randolph-Macon. They host over 155 career development programs each year, and this ranges everywhere from a career cover letter and resume workshop to a etiquette dinner, so you can learn which one's your bread plate and which one's your drink, and there's 3 forks, so which one to use when. A financial literacy workshop, so you can learn about establishing credit, how to buy a car, buy your first home, rent an apartment, just really important life skills that you don't necessarily learn in the classroom, but are really important to know for after you graduate. We have a career boot camp, which is our most popular program, which is an experience for sophomores to learn all the ins and outs of interviewing and professional development. So you go through workshops for an entire weekend to learn about how to tell your story, present yourself in an interview, what side of your blazer to wear your name tag, how to give a proper handshake. And then you go through 3 interviews, mock interviews with alumni, and you get to learn all about the alumni, you get to network with them, and you get to practice all the things that you've been learning throughout the entire weekend. So they're doing amazing work, and I love the fact that we're so close to Richmond because they help students find internships in Richmond, DC, New York City, but there's even students who do their internships in London, England. So anywhere that you want to go, the Edge will help you with that. Next slide. In terms of student life at Randolph-Macon, we have over 100 clubs and organizations, and these range everywhere from a science club to a fishing club to a Game of Thrones watch club. And if we don't have a club that you're interested in, it's only $5 to start a new club, and you need an advisor, and that's it. So that's why it's always growing each year, and we definitely encourage students to get involved in things that they're passionate about. We have 13 fraternities and sororities, And about 30% of our campus is involved in Greek life. So if that's something you're interested in, they do a lot of great work on our campus and in our community and raise a lot of money for philanthropic causes. You can see down at the bottom, our fraternities and sororities raised almost $50,000 last year for philanthropic causes. We have 14 residence halls. We are a residential campus, which means that you are guaranteed housing all 4 years, and majority of students will live on campus all 4 years. And I love that students are all on campus together because there's always events going on, whether it be a sporting event, game nights, a guest lecturer, and having students all on campus makes it really easy to facilitate some of those events. We have 18 varsity sports athletic teams. We are Division III, a part of the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, much like Roanoke and Emory and Henry. And we compete in all men's and women's sports. And we have a pretty big rivalry with another private school in Virginia, Hampton-Sydney College. We were named the oldest small school rivalry in the South. And even though we have about 1,600 students on campus, usually about 10,000 people are on campus when we play against them. And the winner gets to keep the big game ball trophy. It's getting pretty dusty in our campus store and our showcase. It's been there for about 6 years now. So we love playing them in all the teams, but we have great athletics at Randolph Macon. And we definitely encourage you to follow us on social media because there's always updates on things going on campus and events going on and student takeovers. So for any institution that you're interested in, definitely follow them on social media because you can learn a lot about the institution and student life from following them. But I think that'll bring us to the end of our presentation. And here's some of our contact information in case you have questions about any of our specific institutions or Virginia private schools in general. But I hope that throughout the presentation, you have really seen that for a liberal arts institution, a lot of things are similar for all of them, such as the small classes, personalized attention, but there are things at each institution that makes it different programs and services and popular majors. So it's really important to know what you're interested in, know what factors are important to you, and to just connect with colleges that you're interested in because we want to connect with you. But thank you so much for listening to us. And I think we will now do some Q&A, see if you guys have any questions. Please press the Q&A button at the bottom and submit them if you have them, and we'll be sure to answer them.
Faith, I know I have some questions about which fork to use, but I think those can be handled a little bit later. There was one question that came in and just kind of, I think we've touched base on most of it, but one thing that maybe we could talk about again is honors classes, honors college, those kind of opportunities on our campuses. So Faith, did you want to go first?
Sure, yeah. We do have an honors program at Randolph-Macon. It's something that students are invited to apply for. So after you have filled out your application and been accepted, then our honors program will look at that list of students and then pick students to invite to apply. There are a lot of great perks with being in the honors program, some really nice special classes. They all live on a dorm together on one hall and have their offices right at the end of the hall. So they're all close together, special seating in the library. And then when you graduate with an honors degree, which is really exciting as well.
Emory and Henry is very similar to that as well. So we do offer an honors program. Students are invited after they accepted based on GPAs from their high schools to interview with our honors program. We host 2 different interview days. Both will be in the spring this year. It's up in the air on whether or not they'll be virtual or in person, so that is to be determined. Once our students are here, they have the opportunity to take honor-specific courses, and they also can select courses each semester that they want to be part of their honors curriculum, which means they usually will select a class that is within their degree. So if it's a physics student, they will select one of their physics classes, let the professor know that they want this as honors credit, and the professor will actually give them a different class curriculum than the rest of the class. So they're going to have a little bit more hard course for that particular class. But we always recommend that they usually pick the class that pertains to their major.
And Roanoke also has an honors program. So any students who apply to Roanoke and who are admitted can also apply to the honors program. Our priority deadline is January 15th. there's a lot of essay portion to the application for our honors program. So just start taking a look at it now, thinking about those essay questions. And we do have criteria of who is typically admitted to the honors program. It's about the top 10% of our student body, so a very competitive program. We also have a separate curriculum for students in the honors program. They won't partake in the INQ curriculum. They'll partake in their own honor system. Of course, they will be able to live in New Hall, which is our newest residence hall on campus. We enjoyed having all the honors students living together. And then the other big benefit is part of your senior project will be funded. So a lot of students will use that funding to travel abroad, different fun things like that. But to have that distinction on your diploma is a pretty amazing thing from Roanoke. And if anybody has any other questions, feel free to submit those. But Tracy and Faith, I know that the question that we are getting the most, which I don't think we covered in this section, is of course about test scores with the pandemic. So did y'all want to just touch base on your test score policy real quick?
Sure, yeah, thank you. Randolph-Macon has gone test optional for this fall's admissions. And what's really exciting is also our nursing program is test optional as well.
We have gone test optional too for fall 2021. So the only thing that we need is a submitted application and high school transcripts.
And we've been test optional for the last few years, so it wasn't too much of a change for us, which was kind of nice. But I just do want to mention too that when we say test optional, we mean it, not test blind or any of these other things. I know that there's been a lot of concern out there. You are not going to be penalized for not submitting your test scores. I think I can speak for both of you on that too, right? See the heads going up and down. we understand that students are going through a year like any other, and we're trying to be as flexible as possible for students. So great. Not seeing any other questions.
One thing that I will touch on, and you all can as well, just because of with COVID and how it's changed, it's changed everything. We are offering on-campus visits 3 times a day, Monday through Friday, 1 family per visit, 4 per tour time. We are also offering all the virtual video chat, FaceTime, phone, texting, any other way that you want to speak to your admissions counselor. So we are available however is most convenient for families to reach out to us.
Same for Randolph-Macon. We are offering in-person tours every day of the week, including Saturdays, but not Sundays. So if you feel comfortable doing that, we are offering it. We also have a virtual tour option, and we're doing all the virtual options to be able to connect with students, including a virtual open house, which is this week, and we have some more in October and November. So look on all of our websites because you'll probably see lots of information about all the virtual offerings that we have.
Yeah, and we're not too much different, and we're of course have our on-campus visits. We are limiting it, and of course we are screening all families that come to campus. And then we do have our virtual sessions 3 days a week and also on Saturdays offering those. We are adding some academic exploration days. Those are going to be virtual. They'll be coming up very soon, and we'll of course have a few different professors in certain academic areas that will be doing Zoom webinars for students, so you can log in and ask specific questions about majors that you may be interested in. I always say after a while you get tired of hearing from admission counselors, so you want to talk to people on our campuses, so that would be a good opportunity for you to do that. So it looks like a question did come in, and it kind of just talks about scholarships and then in-state, out-of-state tuition, differentiating that. Did one of y'all want to answer?
I can take that one. So for private colleges, you will see that we don't have a distinguish between in-state versus out-of-state tuition. It will just be one tuition cost for room, board, tuition, and fees. And you'll also notice that a lot of private colleges will offer a substantial amount of financial aid. So for most colleges, you can contact them to learn about their specific merit-based scholarships that they offer and how they work with need-based aid and FAFSA and things like that. And then you'll be notified in a full financial aid package how much will be awarded from them in merit-based aid. And you will see sometimes, I will warn you, that with private colleges, the sticker price can be kind of high, but 100% always look into what their financial aid package on average looks like, because it will bring the sticker costs down significantly.
And if you do want more information in regards to comparing private institutions to public institutions, I was on a panel earlier for CACRAO for this specific topic of with private institutions and delving deeper into financial aid. So you can check back on CACRAO.org to see that recording if you want to get some more information on how we do compare to public institutions.
That was a great question, and I don't see any other questions popping up, so I guess this will be the end of our presentation. Thank you guys all so much for joining in to hear from us.
All right. Yes, thank you all for joining us. When you close the window, there's going to be a quick link to a 4-question survey, and we would greatly appreciate if you would fill that out and give us any kind of feedback. Also, again, just one of many sessions that CACRAO is offering, and you can check out the full list at CACRAO.org. And again, in about a week, this recording will be available, so you can rewatch it if you want to brush up on anything that our presenters shared with us. So just want to again thank you for joining us, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.